Hello there hobby heroes and welcome back. Today I'm painting up the Death Korps of Krieg Sergeant from the Astra Militarum box in the gritty battle-worn 143rd Regiment scheme. Let's get stuck in. We've primed the mini using German Field Grey by Vallejo, a nice desaturated base, and now we're going in with the Fang for the greatcoat. This cold blue grey really gives off that gritty trench warfare tone you see with the 143rd. Next up we're using Karak Stone for all the fabric gear, for example the bedroll, the puttees, the gas mask. This provides a lighter, almost canvas-like tone that breaks up the coat colour nicely. We're moving on to Rhinox Hide, and this is for the boots. It's a rich dark brown that adds a classic worn leather look and contrasts really well against the lighter tones above it. Now for the leather parts, and I'm using Mournfang Brown here. This goes onto the webbing, the main body of the backpack and any other leather strappings. It's warm, it's earthy, and it will work great with scrub brown highlights later. Okay, now we're moving on to Corvus Black, and this is for the weapon casings, the leather gloves, and also, if you notice, next to the collar there's also a patch underneath the gas mask that we will use this colour for as well. I'll also apologise here for some shoddy camera work. I will be sure to improve this in the future. Starting with the metallic details, and we're using iron hand steel. This is for the helmet and the shoulder guards. It's a darker steel tone, perfect for that Grimdark look without being too shiny. And to finish off basing all those details, we're looking here at Balthasar Gold, and this is for the smaller details like the insignias on the helmet and the weapons. It's subtle and adds richness and draws the eye to focal points. Again, apologies for the weird angles. Now let's put all of these base coats together with a Agrax Earthshade wash all over the model, and this will tie the tones into a coherent weathered scheme and has deep shadows for definition. Be careful with your application, don't let it pull too much at the bottom of the coat. If it does, clean your brush and just move it around and reapply it elsewhere. Okay, and once that shade is dry, it's time to go back over the coat with the Fang. Just relayering and establishing those base tones on the raised areas and prepping this coat for the highlights coming up soon. We are doing the same process with Karak Stone, brightening up these fabric textures before adding final highlights. However, I don't do the puttees, I leave them as they are. I just focus on the gas mask and the bedroll. I lay the trousers with AK dark grey to bring out the folds again. The original German Field Grey primer shows through a bit, but once this layer is on, the tone difference blends nicely and isn't noticeable anymore. Okay, a quick but important step now. I use a Baden Black to fill in the lenses on the gas mask. It gives the model that cold, expressionless look that really fits the Death Korps vibe. Be sure to keep your hands really steady here, as this is quite finicky. Okay, time for some edge highlights now, and we're starting with rust grey over the Fang, especially around the folds and creases, to give this coat more life. Use the side of your brush to skim the raised edges, and it helps avoid any messy lines. Karak Stone areas get a hit of a shabty bone, and this lifts the whole fabric section and helps separate the elements visually. Thin your paints here slightly more so it flows better and doesn't clump on textured details. Here we're highlighting the bedroll, the puttees, and there's a very small edge on the gas mask that we need to catch as well. Okay, I'm going back to AK Dark Grey at this point, and this is to edge highlight all of the weapons. But as you can see, I have made an absolute mess of that. At this point, it's time to rescue the Mini from the mess that I made. And Corvus Black to the rescue. I went a bit too wild with the highlights here, and now I'm just cleaning up those overshot edges. Seriously, don't stress if things like this go off track. Every painter makes mistakes, and the great thing about acrylics is you can always fix them. Just slow down, breathe, and patch it up like a pro. Now it's on to Scrag Brown for the leather highlights, and just a few edges and lines along the backpack and the straps really help everything feel more worn in and lived. Another tip for you here is you can sketch in a few scuffs and some rough texture lines for some extra realism, as you can see on the backpack. Okay, next up, Stormhost Silver is going to be used to highlight all of that metalwork. The weapons, the buttons, the helmet. This adds a final pop without looking brand new. Keep your brush almost dry for some subtle metallic catches on the corners and the rivets. Finally, we're on to some Liberator Gold to brighten up all those brass details like the aquillas and the clasps. This helps catch the light and make those areas stand out subtly. Don't overload the brush here, small touches go a long way with metallics. For the basing here, I've gone with a muddy battlefield theme, some gravel, dry brush, grass tufts, and I finish it off with a dark grey base rim. And that's our Death Korps Sergeant done. The 143rd Regiment in all its war-torn glory. I love how much these tones have come together on this one. And that wraps up our journey through the trenches with our 143rd Regiment. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, drop a comment about what you're working on, or just say hi. I always love hearing from fellow hobbyists. Hit the subscribe button for more painting guides, mishaps and mini victories. Until next time, happy painting and stay creative.